Welcome to Yeshiva Dash, responsible in Yeshivas Arm Yakushon Labas Yitzchok. We're holding Basra the Kuf Mem Dalet. This is a repeat of the daf that was given on Shabbos, and we're starting in the Mishnah and daf Kuf Mem Gimel on Beis. Look the Mishnah. Hiniach bonim gdoilim viktanim. Someone died, and he has older and younger kids. Hishbichu gdoilim sanichosim hishbichu lehenza. If the older kids worked on the property, and they made the property improve, so they have to divide the profits between all the kids. If they went and they announced they told Bezdin or the Edim, as the Rambam says, or they announced Betzibur, said, we're going to work on the Nechasim, we're not going to split it. In other words, we're doing it for ourselves. Then so they take the profit. Big machlekes over here, the Rashbam and Tosfos. Are we talking about they take it only from their chelik, or they're taking it from the entire properties, everything that belongs to their father? Machlekes. Rashbam only from their chelik. Tosfos says from the entire property. Another interesting discussion that we showed him is that it says you have a gedolim ktanim. What happens to the bull gedolim? So the Tosfos says, if you look at the Rashbam, the Tosfos in the right, of course, Gimel base in the middle. Pure Shuvam do a ding gedolim and gedolim. And the Orach of the Milsa Nokat. The many other Rishonim argue and say it's gedolim, not gedolim, gedolim. It's only gedolim ketanim, where the ketanim are not able to do it. So then the gedolim have the ability, to have that option to say, "I'll do it on my own." It says in the next part of the Mishnah, similarly, the same structure of the first part. If a woman, a wife, goes and does shvach and nechosim, hishbicha land, so whatever she does shvach is split by everybody else. If she says, look what my husband gave me, I'm going to do it, and I'm announcing that I'm doing it, she does it for herself. And here, right away, the question is, Isha, where does she have a part in the Nechasim? So the Gemara is going to address this. Now, just to point out, right now it seems like the structure is the same, meaning the beginning of the Mishnah was, if you don't say anything, it goes to the middle. If you do, so then you take the profit. By Isha, the same thing. If you don't say anything, it goes to the middle, meaning it's split equally between everybody. If she does say it goes to her, we'll see when we get to the Gemara, maybe a little bit different, this second part of the Mishnah. Says the Gemara, Chaviva Bredi Avesi Bredi Rov Mishvei Rov. L'shono sheshovchu nechosim machmas nechosim. This is only if the nechosim are mashbiach machmas nechosim, which means that, according to Rashbam, shov nechosim nechosim means that they used the money of the property. They took whatever assets the father has, and they used that to improve the property. What does it mean machmas atzvom? The brothers took their own money and spent it on the property. So then, they take it themselves. If they spend the money, they shbichu latzvom. So then, when the kufim dal from top. So what about it? Says by Udaini. What's Udaini? Udaini is what the Rashbam means. Udaini is a bor, is a pit with a cover in it. So then you say sochel lehenza. For Udaini machmas atzvoi. What is Udaini? Udaini means you have to guard it. So if I have to guard it, it means I'm doing it on my own behalf. So shani Udaini terusu Davido for the ktani nami matzu mintirlo. So no, Udaini is made for guarding, and for guarding, everybody can do it. When the Gedolim come and say, you only mashbiach, they say, we want to do something the Ketanim can't do. They can't do it, we'll do it our own. This is mashma more like the Rishonim that say, it's Gedolim Ketanim. But here, they all can do it. So you're saying you want to guard it, I'll guard it. Why you should do it more? The Ketanim can do it themselves. It's something which is easy to do, even for the Ketanim, and that's why there, you don't say it's considered to be their investment in the property. So we have Safra Shovak Avua Zuzi. So Safra's father left the money. Sheklinu. He went and did business with it. Also, Achi Tabu B'dino. Okay, the brother say, you have to split it, as the Mishnah says. And who do you go to? Kamei de Rov, in front of Rov. Amul Rav Safra Gavirabu, the Shodi Giuse V'Torach La'achri. So Safra, he's a chosher person. And if he's not stopping to learn, unless it's for his own benefit. He's not doing it for others. He's learning. He's not giving his learning to do it for his brothers. So if that's the case, so it's as if he announced and said, Rabbi say, I'm not doing it for others. And that's what it is, because by him, he's a Gavarabo. Discussion in the poskim, is this neg today, or it's only those days? There was a real chacham that's terosa munosoi. It doesn't mevata 1 minute of Torah. He's the one who can do it, but not everybody else. What is the woman doing in the nechasi? What are they saying? Talk about a woman who's Yerush. What's the case of Isha Yerush? So there are a few pshat in the Rishayim. Let's see the Rashbam over here. Rashbam brings a few explanations. Isha Yerush took the Rashbam because Shenosa Reuven Bas Shimon. Reuven married the daughter of Shimon, his niece. V'meisu v'yorshu bnei Reuven Bas Shimon is nichsi Yaakov avi avia. They're inheriting the grandfather. So she happens to be the wife of Reuven, but she's inheriting the grandfather because of her father, Shimon. That's what we're talking about. Oi, another case where Rashbam says, go in Bas ben Abonis, one daughter, many daughters, Bas ben Abonim, Dina Kidina, she has been like a regular brother. So he married somebody who was able to be Yerush. So the third case is that the husband says, I wanted to take a piece like one of the kids. So now, so according to this Rashbam, what are we talking about? At least the first two pshat in the Rashbam. The fact that she's inheriting has nothing to do with her husband. She's inheriting because she is the daughter of Shimon, right? She's inheriting her grandfather, or inheriting her father. Nothing to do with the husband. So based on that, the Rashbam really continues on, as the Teiz points out, what's the next part of the Mishnah? The next part of the Mishnah says, see what my husband left for me. That's not the case. Says the Rashbam, it's a separate case. The second part of the Mishnah is different than the first part. The first part of the Mishnah is talking about the same case. The kids came and said, we want to part, and they mashbiach without saying anything, they split to everybody. They said, they split it. The second part of the Mishnah is talking about two different cases. One first case is, she inherited her grandfather. So then so she's one of the Yerush. If she said about what she got from her husband, then she takes it for herself. Different case, that part. And that's what opens the discussion of Rishayim, maybe to explain in different ways. And says the Gemara, Simo Pshito, she's Yerush, what's the Chiddush? Derech for a woman to be Terech at all, maybe it will be like a Talmid Chacham. Automatically you say that it goes through her. Kamash when you don't say that. So if she said, she announced, I want to take it for myself, she don't want to take on the shvicha lemilsa de amri katar kiyaspe. It's very nice if she does whatever she does it for the entire family, because then everybody says, look at this, she's such a great woman. So maybe even though she announced she wants out, she wants to do it only for herself. Maybe she was moichel. Kamash Ram is really two nekudas which are exact opposite from each other in this Gemara. Someone used to be in those days, because we see that also comes up from Ksubis, when the way they got married is when the son got married, the father put him in a house, and that house is where it was the chuppah, the shar brachas, the entire simchas and nesuin was over there. Now, if the father does it for his older son, we're assuming the son is kohen near this house. And we'll explain in a second why. So there more, first of all, a few caveats. Davka Godol, Davka is the older son. For Davka Basul, Davka he marries a virgin. For Davka Ishto Rishon, if it's his first wife. For Davka she's here Rishon, meaning that he is he's marrying the first. He's the first one to get married in the house. Says the Gemara, Pshita, it's Pashut, meaning the next, so the son gets the house. That's what comes out from the Nekudah. So if there's two, it's a two-family home, it's two floors. Give him the first one, not the second floor. By the Achsadjo Ma. What about a house, an Achsadjo, which is like an open court in front of the house? Or Shtei Botis Lefim Mizema. What about if you have two houses, one in front of each other, you have to go through one to get to the other? So you want to take it. We're not sure if is it part of the house or not. So the father gave him a house with the furniture. He's not going to the house. So that's a steer to what you said. Talking about that the treasure of the father is sitting in the house, and he for sure didn't give him the entire house. Even if it's only a nest. Even a barrel or a pitcher of a fish. He married a son. Put a sandal in the house to say, I'm not giving you the house. Put an oil lantern. Meaning, as long as the father shows he has some shekels in the house, he's not giving the house. The following three things are Rabbanan said it without a reason. There's no reason. That the father gives the house to the son, he's giving him the house. We saw earlier, person gives all the chassid to his wife, he really means to say that she's only a apotropos. Where we learn Masechus Gittin, person gives to somebody a gift, or is marked to somebody. If the three people, meaning if Reuben is holding on to an object that belongs to Shimon, Shimon says give it to Levi, just by saying in front of Reuben and Levi, that's a kinyan, and he has to give it to Levi, and Reuben can't change his mind. Now Tosfos Gittin points out this is not below time at all, right? Even Tosfos says that here as well. There's more marich. There is a little bit of a reason, right? So he says over here, the smichus das. Probably he took out all his chafatzim. He's giving the house right now to the son. The idea of a patropos makes sense. The husband doesn't want to give his wife so much. He wants the people to give him a chashivus. And by Shloshton, we say it's also smichus das. There's some reason. It's not enough. It's considered like time because it's not enough of a reason, but Rabbanan gave it and took this reason, expanded upon it to create these halachas. When that unkovidal of the base of the Mishnah. Brothers, shutfim. There is a discussion that we're showing if the girsa is achim ve'ashutfim, two different cases, or only achim ashutfim. We're talking about brothers that are partners in the estate they inherit. One of them fell le'umus, which means le'umus, according to the Rashbam, based on the Gemara, he is being the king appoints tax collectors from different families, from different places. He appointed them to be a tax collector. So Nofel then whatever money he makes, he has to split it among the brothers. Cholav and Yisrael, he got sick, and then he got healed. Yisrael B'Mishatz has to pay himself. It says more Tana Hai Umnus. What's Umnus? The Umnus Hamelech, meaning he has to. He's working for the king as a tax collector. So Rashbam explained, we talk about every family used to appoint a tax collector. So it's really a family that gave him that ability to do what he's doing. So the Motorah Bon Echad Min Achim Sheminu Gabayu Plum Mustus. They made a gabi for the taxes or a type of police. Or the building garden brings is a sefer, a scribe. If his brothers cause him, it's a thing in the family, so he has to give the money to the brothers. If he did it for himself, I mean, because he's so smart and so wise, he was chosen, so the profit goes to himself. Very smart. Even though he points everybody from his family, maybe that's the reason he chose it. We assume that it goes like the regular standard procedure, that it's a din in the family. Brothers are being supported from the house. One of them says, I'm going to go learn Torah, I want to go learn a miktzaya, I want to learn a profession. No. If you want to be supported for the house, you have to be here. You can't travel. Why? It says more relates to just give him wherever he is. There's a bigger bracha when there's more people in the house. If let's say if you break a sabai, so do a cheshbon what it is. Say, well, we'll do a cheshbon. What does it mean? So here we have, really the Tosfos brings it over here. And just maybe to mention one interesting thing. That in the end of Kufim Gimel Kufim Dal and Dalef, the last Tosfos Kufim Dal and Dalef, it says, Ad kan Shitas Haro. The entire Tosfos on Masechus Bava until here was the Shitas Haro. From here on, the Kufim Dal and base, on top of the Amud, starts a new Tosfos, and that's Tosfos that goes to the end of Masechta, and it's not the same Baal Tosfos till now. So Tosfos here explains what's the reason, what's because of ice. So he says, the first Tosfos over here, the first explanation is very logical, very understood, very tangible. Expenses are more when you have separate homes than when you have one home. You put 4 people in one home, they have less expenses than 4 people in 4 homes. So it's very easy to measure. So that's what Gemara says, let's just do the cheshbon. So okay. But then, if yesh mefoshim, the mazla beit treodif, it has to do with mazel. Mazel, says places, how you can measure mazel? How do you know how much more money you made because of the mazel? We don't know that. So that's very hard to understand according to this shot in the Gemara. So when Chalab has to pay for himself. Only if it was his fault, he got sick on his own. But if it was oinus, the household has to pay. Everything is Yeshiva except Tzinim Pachim. Shene'emar Tzinim Pachim dechikesh Sherman Nafshi. You have to be careful. What's Tzinim Pachim? The Bava over here says that Tzinim Pachim is Tzinim cold, which is Pachim, which causes a person to be sick. Rashi and Ksubas learn Tzinim Pachim is two different things. Tzinim is cold, Pachim is heat. Toyos over here brings, he says here the name of the Yerushalmi, and Ksubas brings the name of the Medrash, that Antonius told Rebbe, please give me a bracha. He says, you should be safe from the cold. He says, to be safe from the cold, I could do it on my own. Just put another layer, another coat. So he says you should be safe from the heat. Oh, that's a good bracha. So that's like the Rashbam over here. The theme is cold, that person can guard himself. So what is Gemara saying? A person can keep himself out to have a cold. If he didn't do that, it's his fault. He has to pay himself. Other things don't comes from Shemayim. So Teis over here, biggest Teis says that everything else is happy for Shemayim. So can a person go and kill himself? Can he commit suicide? Can he cause any harm to himself? So of course he could. Just tzinim is always b'deodim. The other ones, if you didn't do anything, it's b'dei Shemayim. The person purposely did it, so then it's b'dei odom. Tzinim is going to be 100% b'dei odom. B'chol Masvin and the Pirush HaGadol brings the name of the Chivas Levavos that he opposite of cases. He says a person can never harm himself, never can commit suicide unless there's a gzeira for him to die. He has an aver to do it like any other person who does it. But a person cannot harm himself without gzeira Shemayim. So what does it mean, legabe tzinim, legabe cold? Everything else is 100% b'dei Shemayim. Tzinim, the getting a cold, that's something special. That's the only thing that happens b'dei odom. Everything else 100% not b'dei odom. We'll speak about it more about this in the Shor Machshav on the Daf. Says the Gemara, says the Mishnah. Right? So what is Shoshvinus? So Shoshvinus is something that we don't have today. But Shoshvinus is, there used to be that let's say Reuven goes to the wedding of Shimon. He gave him a nice donation, nice gift that covered a big portion of the wedding. But the idea was when Shimon will come to Reuven, he will give him also the gift. It was almost like an unwritten obligation. The Makkah explains that those days Shoshvim had a job because they made sure there's no times besulim, no problem that the dam was not there. And that's why it's something that stopped today. And that's why today we don't have it. Even though the place do discuss what happens when you have people give gifts for chasana, and that place, the gift goes towards the wedding. Does they have a dini b'shishvarim or not? So here we are like this. Achim shasu mitosu shishvinis b'chayav. They did shishvinis when the father's lifetime. They did shishvinis. Chozo shishvinis, chozo lemtza. So when they reciprocate, right? One of the sons went to the wedding of Shmuel. When Shmuel gives back, it goes to everybody else. It goes to the whole family. Shashvinis is the basic because it's something which is a real obligation. You go to basic and be goyim. If someone sends his friend barrels of wine and oil, and even a basin, if it's not a shashvin, it's not going to give you a gift. There's no basis, and that's why if someone gives it back, not necessarily goes to the entire family. Second one of your meaning. Father send shashvinus, meaning the father sent on his behalf. Right? So the father sends his son, says, go, here's a check. When it goes back, it goes to him, not the entire family. Right? If there was someone sent to the father of Shoshvinus, so then when the father has to pay back, it goes back from the middle, meaning it goes back from the entire family because they are obligated to pay the obligation of their father. That's the second part. But the first part says clearly, not like a Mishnah. Our Mishnah is also talking about that it was sent to the father, meaning as we'll see in a moment. It says clearly in the Mishnah the brothers did Shoshvinim. Tani lem miktosom. It came for them. So someone sent them to this family, Shashvinus, to pay for the wedding, and it really was the father's. They went for the father. So the Gemara v'achazu Shashvinus ktani. In other words, someone paid him for the father for the wedding, and so then we have to give it back for everybody else. But if the father's son send one son to do a wedding, to pay for a wedding, so then it goes back to that son only. Depends if he said it or not. What do you mean? Well, look at the Rashbam. So Bryce Tani Chozes lo yisv levad lo ikasho. Masid b'stam shach stam al yidei echad libonav v'lo yipirish del das ben zeshach. It's not even this son specifically. Here Chozes that it goes back to the middle. I mean, it goes to everybody. Al Bryce yifar sheshvius tachzor lo yisv ben. So clearly that's what it goes to him. Ketanyo shach lo aviv sheshvius kishi Chozes lo. Father sends a shvinus for him on his behalf. It goes back to him. Shach aviv sheshvius stam didn't say it's for his behalf. So it's clearly the advice of this chiluk. Talking here about a yovel. What does it mean a yovel? Talking about our mission really always goes back to the son of the father sitting on his behalf. So the father has a son, Reuven, and he sent Reuven to the wedding of Beryl, and he says, please pay for the wedding of Beryl. Now what does Beryl have to do back? He has to give it back to who? To Reuven. Reuven died. Shimon is the brother of Reuven, is doing evil. So he says, they have money, they have to give Reuven, give it to me. Says the Mishnah, no. Now you spread it among everybody, all the brothers. Why? Because Yavam takes whatever the brother has right now. Whatever's coming in the future, doesn't take. So this is called coming in the future. So it's a loan. So I'm sure you do have to pay. Right? He does have to pay to all the brothers. So the Gemara, he says, well, take it. If Reuven died, and the purpose of the gift is to pay for the wedding of Reuven, you can say, I'm willing to pay Reuven if he's here. Well, as we'll see in a moment, there's a concept saying, I don't pay you if you're not here to take it. You're not here to do the wedding. Then we find a price. If a husband, a chassan, gave money to a Isha for Kiddush, she died. So you have a minute, you give it back to the chassan. The meaning is not, you don't give it back. It's only if the woman died, the kala died. But if the chassan died, then you don't give back the money, even if the man has to give it back. Why? She could say, she says, I'm here. Right? Look at Losh Rosh I gave you money. I wanted to give it back. I mean, now I want to give it back. I don't want to give it back. I want to get married. Oh, he's not here. So that's his problem. So the same thing over here. So here the same thing. He says, listen, I'm willing to pay for his wedding. He's not here. So Yaakov is not for me. There's a svara that you can't come and when I have an obligation to do something, and I can't do it because it's somebody else's fault, you can't come with a tiny to me. Bring him to me, I'll do it. Says the Gemara, Amar Yosef, case over here is that they had a simcha and Shabbos. They did do a simcha Shabbos. But before he's able to pay it back, he died. So what happened here? Reuven went to Beryl's simcha, they did a big simcha. Then Reuven got married. Beryl came to the simcha. They had a whole simcha, they had dancing, they had Shabbos. Now, comes time to pay. They go to Beryl, please pay. Reuven died. So Beryl has to pay, because Beryl didn't enjoy the wedding. It wasn't the wedding, he has to pay. The Shalom, who's he paid to if the Reuven died? Does he pay to the Yavam and to everybody else? According to this answer, he pays to the entire Achim, because the Yavam doesn't take the Roi Kevin Bosok. The Sir Gomer will stop over here, continue from here in tomorrow's daf.